YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. This is going to be a final comparison video of the Samsung 32-inch Neo G8 on the left. This is a 2022/2023 monitor that I purchased versus the all-new QD-OLED from Alienware on the right, also in 32-inch. Let me set you up for video expectations, okay? We're gonna have timestamps down in the description. We're gonna also do some different gameplay. There's not gonna be a ton of filler talking time within this video, but I wanna set you up right here for this portion to know what to expect out of this video. Right now, I still have these monitors set on default, okay? I have scrubbed them completely. Even the Alienware on the right, the QD-OLED in this direction, this monitor out of the box, I hit reset just in case they had pre-programmed any type of settings. And I also did the same on the Neo G8, okay? So up until this point, the content with both of these monitors have been pretty default. I think we can tell it is 100% a QD-OLED thing. My point in making this video, like the others, is just to offer you some comparisons, okay? In the retail space, monitor on the left is about $1,000 US. Monitor on the right, $1,200, okay? I think the better value is definitely there, but there's some great opportunities with this. Now, I am going to attempt to get these things adjusted to look kind of sort of similar. We got to turn some things down and modify some settings on the left to remove that overall hazy, blooming look that you get from a mini LED monitor or just an LED monitor in totality, okay? I want to try to get it looking with the black levels and such as close as possible to the monitor on the right, okay? Keeping in mind, you're still not going to get infinite blacks. It's just not possible. But I just wanted to make this to offer you some comparisons. And ultimately, I need to get this done because I'm off today, I'm off tomorrow. I'm shooting this today and you're gonna get this video today. This is gonna be shot in 4K at 60 frames per second in HDR, so it takes a long time for YouTube to process HDR, so you might have to come back for that. But I need to get my house back to some normalcy, and right now it's not normal. So we're gonna get it going right after this intro. Guys, so welcome back to the channel. In the next transition, I'm going to go ahead and flash back to the same screen. I'm going to modify settings a little bit just to try to get some even Steven. This is not a settings video, so I'm not here to provide you with settings. As I said in my prior video that if you did not see, it's the upload before this, I think that settings are very subjective. We all want to see things differently, but for the sake of the comparisons here, I'm just going to do the best that I can to get them to look as close as possible on the viewfinder from which I'm using to film, okay? That's my intention here. So let me get some tweaks done and we'll be right back. And we are back. Okay, so let me tell you what I did on the left, okay? Well, let's begin. This is a desktop image. I shared this in the first comparison that I did 2 videos ago, okay? Street Fighter 4, Ryu, Ultra Street Fighter 4 to be specific. So there's a lot of yellow and very vibrant, punchy colors there. It's almost like the sun is in front of him. He's looking back, and his gloves and his headband are obviously red. Now on the left, there's a ton of saturation here, okay? There's 2 settings that you can go into with the Neo G8 on the left to spruce things up, and it's too intense right now. You got the color enhancer. You can either turn it on or off. I turned it on. There's no in between, okay? And I'm gonna turn it off because it's just too much. It's too distracting, okay? It's the equivalent of having Vivid on if you are familiar with using a Samsung television, okay? So it just turns everything to the max. Yes, there are some opportunities for you to be able to go in and do some custom stuff, but just presets. That's kind of what I'm modifying, presets, okay? Color enhancement on. I think it can be really good for some people that are, you know, just wanting really like high saturated punch colors. But in this equation right here, the red is just too red and the yellow is too yellow and everything else. It looks good, but it just doesn't look right to me. And another thing I want to mention, Alienware on the left, on the right, the QD-OLED on the right, there are not as many options you can modify with the HDR. Now you can go into some different HDR presets. I'm not willing to go through every single one for this video. I'm sure there's content out there for them. This has got the game HDR on. If you do the HDR 1000, it dims it a little bit. And I understand it's more for accuracy purposes, but I have to set these to a standard that looks good for me in person, and then I'm using the viewfinder. But using it, I can tell you it's pretty much a one-to-one versus what I think you should be seeing from me looking at the viewfinder and me recording this to what I'm seeing. So I'm going to do one more transition where I turn this color enhance off, and then we'll talk about the other setting I modified on the G8 on the left. Okay, so color enhancer has been turned off on the left. It never was on the right. The other setting that I modified on the left was the black stabilizer, okay? It defaulted at about 6 on this monitor. When I reset it, it was on 6. It's up to about 15 now, okay? I didn't want to try to force things to look too dark, too black, but what I wanted to do was just to remove the overall, like, this cloudy look that I got just on this screen right here, okay? Been moving the mouse cursor around so these monitors aren't suffering from any type of ABL or anything like that. So there's no dimming. The image is pretty consistent here. And no matter how it articulates on the camera for you, I'm here to tell you that, you know, I think they look about as close to how I would want them. Now, they don't look the same. Let's just be clear here. The level of contrast on the right is just unmatched. But the Neo G8, I do have experience with this monitor, having owned it since last year, and I used it as a dedicated gaming monitor for quite some time. It definitely has some great potential. So let's get into some different games. All right, this is a Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I chose to go with this because it's a little bit different. I don't feel like this game gets thrown into a lot of comparisons, and it does offer, you know, some high dynamic range. So let's go on over to options just so we can take a look at some display and graphic settings. Both look really good right here. No deep learning super sample. That's just a personal thing for me. HDR on. I mean, the bright is obviously blinding on the left, 100%. But I can't make out at all what the icon is. In person, I can actually see what this is here. You know, this isn't something I can really modify, I don't believe, you know, without changing the overall scope of what they both offer. It kind of is what it is when you're running it to both. So again, these are just our settings. We're gonna let this open in sequence run. Believe it or not, the text lettering looks pink on the left. I'm not sure what that's about. Versus they look more pure on the white. It's kind of crazy. White looks more pure on this game on the right. It might be because there's a better, more accurate representation of HDR. I'm not sure. Subs are kicking. Got 2 clips 12s in here. Yeah, there's still that blooming on the left. That white looks brighter on the left there. And again there. She's so brave.
Jonah, you there? Jonah, I'm here.
This is a good comparison here.
Just a little stuck. A rock hit my leg.
Don't move, I'll get help.
No, I'm right on Trinity's tail. I don't want to attract attention.
I'm on my way.
I won't be long.
Damn, there's like extra colors on the Samsung, and like I don't mind her skin tone having a little bit more color, man. Huh. Man, it looks so cinematic on the right though. And I'm just judging off her skin tone. I'm seeing that blooming though off of the left. It's just impossible to avoid it, you know? Especially when you got dark scenes and you got flashlights and things like that. Yeah, the details lost on the left just because of that, you know? I can't really make out, I can't make out much of anything that's happening on the left. Of course, I can see it a lot better with the light being there. But like right here, this tells the tale. This is a good representation right there. Look at the rocking to her left, the left of her head. Oh, this is a good comparison. I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in. So bear with me. Okay. All right. So the GA looks a little bit more like cooler, but it doesn't look bad. And I should have specified, we do have the warm base setting on both of them, okay? The Alienware comes out the box like that. You kind of have to turn that on with the Neo G8. Man, that was impressive. All right, this is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. All right, I want to start with some Resident Evil 4 Remake. This is on PC. Should have told you guys that, but this is on PC. We are running a DisplayPort connection to both of them, and we have Windows 11 Pro told to have them set at duplicate, okay? So this is going to be a high dynamic range in which I'm going to run this. And as I said earlier in the opening sequence, it may take some time for YouTube to, you know, get this up to you guys. So let's start with the comparison. Neo G8 is on the left and the Alienware QD-OLED is on the right. The white lettering on the left looks more pure, 100%. Absolutely. Like that white looks great. It looks really bright, looks very purposeful, okay? The reds also have that Samsung red. Now, again, we have color enhance turned off, but we do have the black stabilizer. What it's done for me a little bit is I feel like there's not as much of a overall bloom look to the screen, okay? So it looks really good. Now, there's not crushed blacks going on, but some detail is still lost in some of the black areas on the left, okay? This is all on the Neo G8 on the left. Let's talk about the right, the Alienware, okay? So overall, in totality, it has a more warm base to it. Just organically, it looks more warm, okay? I think it's gonna be more comfortable. The whites definitely are not as pure, right? But they also don't look pink. Now, in some instances, when comparing white on a white OLED, specifically an MLA white OLED versus a QD OLED, you're gonna see pink when you have them next to each other. It's not something you can really take note to when you're watching it by itself, but the whites don't look pink. They just look more like dingy, right? They're absolutely pure on the left, and on the right, they look more dingy. Now, as I look to the top left, where I'm seeing the trees, there's just, the detail is there, man. Listen, this is just a masterful representation of contrast. That's what you're getting with the QD-OLED model. Now, however this camera may pick this up, I'm not sure. But that's what I got for the opening sequence. Let's get into the game. All right, let's get into this talking about settings. I'm a max settings kind of guy. I like to stay away from deep learning super sample unless I absolutely have to. Most of the games that I play, I like to just play max settings, okay? If it means I'm gonna get under 60 frames per second, under 120 frames per second, I'm okay with that. So I try to target 60. So this is gonna be running in 4K, 120 hertz, frame rate variable. I just went to the preset and turned everything up. And so that's how we got to these settings. In all totality, it tells us we're using about 14 gigs out of the 22 that's accessible on this RTX 4090 graphics card. All right, we're just gonna walk Leon through this a little bit. Let's go over to the area where we got the car. It's got the bright light. I have to tell you, turning down the black stabilizer or turning up the black stabilizer on the Neo G8 helps a lot with its black levels, with that overall. It's like it controls that impressive backlight system that it has. QD-OLED is 100% default, nothing modified, out of the box. As I said, I felt like I needed to modify the G8 a little bit just to help it so it could look, more closer to what I like to see. So right here, I could just tell you the colors on the QD-OLED are just 100% different. I can see more life out of the vegetation, even though there's a lot of dead vegetation here. This is obviously like a dark, gloomy area. And so the shadow detail, the lighting that's coming through is very purposeful on both of them. But there's just, the colors are just a sure win on the QD-OLED. It's not about how red they can be. I mean, it's even stuff like, we get into the area. I'm going to point Leon's head to where I want it to be focused on. Right there where his head is, to the left of where his head is, there's just so much more detail on the right versus the left, okay? Now, that black stabilizer on camera, I'm not sure how to pick it up. Might make things look a little bit more dark. But what I can tell you is having it set at default, everything just looked bloomy. And we're in the center. I got you guys in the middle. This comparison is going to be a little bit long, but that's what we got the timestamps for. Might not do a lot of games, but I want to make sure that I'm taking my time, being thorough with my talking points. In person, these both look good. Yeah, I would definitely have to go in and try to, do a manual color adjustment on the Samsung Neo G8. Now, I'm telling you, listen, if you don't want to have these problems where all your TVs in your house don't look right, you know, don't go get a QD-OLED, because it's a different type of an experience. And it doesn't matter which one you're getting, be it from Sony or Samsung. It's next level. It really is. Both monitors looking great, but you can for sure tell there's a 2-year gap in terms of the presentation, the innovation. All right, I think I want to move on to something else. This is Resident Evil 4 Remake. All right, guys, let's bring this thing to some conclusion. I apologize. These 2 games that I did these sequences for, I didn't intend for them to be like 5-6 minutes each. My apologies. I don't want to make the video too long and run people away from seeing it. But since we got Shadow of the Tomb Raider on here, I just want to talk a little bit about this. You know, my thoughts. Settings go a long way. This is the same with TVs, with monitors, but some things we have to realize are just not possible, okay? Even with the black stabilization and some modified settings after me recording the prior transition, there's still a level of cloudiness that you're just gonna get in deep black scenes on the G8 on the left around Laura, and I can't zoom in more without, you know, compromising the integrity of the quality of both. I've tried it, but there's just, the blooming is there. It looks good, but the blooming is there. All that detail is just perfect within the right. My reasoning for making this content, I'll say it again, was because if you just tapped into just a little bit of what I do on the TV space, I absolutely love OLEDs and now QD-OLEDs. It's just the way to go if you're looking for that perfect level of contrast and detail. Now, I'm not saying that the Alienware on the right is without its flaws. Initially, when I turned mine on, it was doing some crazy flickering. I was able to fix that by just messing with the resolution of the game that I first booted up. I've seen some issues on Reddit. I don't dive into the forums much, but you know, I do have Reddit, and you know, I kind of peeked in to see what some people were saying. I can't say that those have been my claim to issues, but I can acknowledge that it's not perfect. But it's a damn great representation of offering what we've been asking for a long time, right? QD-OLED at a 32-inch space. Some of you may want to wait out for the Asus, the MSI. I think there's a few companies that will be making these in flat variants. For me, a gaming monitor needs to be curved. I like that immersion. It works for me. I think this monitor is like a 9.5 out of 10. And I don't do like number ratings on my channel, so there's nothing I really have to fall back on to say what prior monitors I reviewed on my channel are. But this monitor is almost perfect. What could make it better? I really don't know. But jumping from what I bought last year to what I have this year, man, I am super happy. And I hope that these comparisons have helped you. Now, if you have more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do realize a lot of you guys ask me questions about doing different, you know, testings on the monitor on the right, and I will be able to do that. Fortnite was asked, Final Fantasy was asked, but I need to get these monitors separated so that I can get my living space back. Okay, I am a TV home theater content creator, and I have the almighty 77-inch A95L behind these 2 little monitors. I need to get back so that I can use this and so I can start talking about the king of my house. All right. Thanks a lot for checking out this video. If you liked it at any point, please hit the thumb up. We do appreciate that. And when I say we, I mean all content creators. Let's have some dialogue. Leave some dialogue, discussion down in the comment section so we can talk about what your thoughts were, what you feel the opportunities were, etc. And if you want to support, there's many ways you can do that. My most favorite way of you supporting is sharing my videos. Subscribing if you're not subscribed. Come on back and see me. Let's get to know each other. That's what we got. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace. God bless. And as I always say, man, max love. We out.